Today we're going to talk about the production of BeyondTherapy, a Christopher Durang play, and we have the director here, Michael Lapointe, who's going to be joining me talking about the play. So I'll start with Michael. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you.
Christopher Durang, BeyondTherapy. Here we are doing this show coming up in February. You had a good audition for it?
Fantastic, yeah.
How
We
many?
exceeded expectations. It's not one of his, I suppose, most absurd or popular plays, although it's done quite a bit on college campuses. But, well, it's just who BeyondTherapy, Christopher Durang. We had 52 people come out to audition, so we were...
And how large is the cast?
6 people.
So you're looking for 6 people and you had 52 people to audition.
Yeah, it was, so at one time it was very gratifying, and at the same time it was very difficult, you know, because it was hours and hours of auditions and then difficult decisions.
And how, for our audience, can you tell us how that process happens with the auditioning of actors for this sort of thing? What do you do?
Sure. We set up 3 nights. First 2 nights, initial auditions, and then a callback night. Students, in this case it's not a musical, so students are provided access to a copy of the script. They can look at it, check it out, come in with a little bit of knowledge about the part that they want or the play itself. And then we'll call them in 2 at a time in this case, as the play is mostly broken down into couples. And we'll pair, you know, this one with that one and this one with that one. They get a chance to read, give some input if there's a particular part they'd like to read for. And usually we'll choose scenes and we'll give them about 2 or 3 minutes to read and have a small conversation.
And the level of experience, do you have all theater majors auditioning, or do you have a vast array of the population?
It's exciting because you have people in there who have done tons of shows, and then you have people who spot an ad for an audition and think to themselves, I always wanted to try that.
Cool.
So there's a whole array of talent.
And I think that's one of the beauty of Bergen Stage is that it's not a theater major only productions that we do here. We open it up to. It's great to have a show that you've got a biology major, you have a chemistry major, and it's an opportunity to while they're in college to be able to do a show. And so that's kind of.
I think that's true. That's true.
Yeah. So now you got your cast together.
Yes.
And then you started rehearsal. How's the rehearsal process been?
Great. Well, you know, with the winter session, we had an opportunity to get in early. So we did the auditions prior to the break. People got to go away with a little bit of an idea of. You know, starting their research.
Right, everybody knew their part before they went away for the holiday break, the winter break, great. And then I know you, because of our time crunch getting back, we only have 5 weeks from the start of classes till opening of the show, so you have rehearsed a little earlier.
We did. The cast was very, very excited and dedicated, and they were coming in on when everybody else was home having vacations. And we started on the 10th, and lost a little bit of time, 5 or so. To snow.
5 rehearsals.
Yeah.
And so how did you make up for it?
Well, you have a team meeting, okay, you know, work the schedules around. It's a little bit of a jigsaw puzzle. Everybody's taking classes and working and commuting, you know, community college style. So, but there was a willingness and dedication from the cast. And so we had some afternoon rehearsals here. We had a second rehearsal on a Friday. Everybody's coming in late on a Saturday. And you know, makes it work.
Oh, good. A cooperative cast. Now, I know that our audiences always ask me this as producer, why this theater as opposed to the Saccone Theater? So is there a difference that you feel how nice it is that this is in the Underhall Lab Theater for this particular play? Or?
Absolutely. I was asked the same question, and I was thinking about it. I don't think it would even want to work in the big stage. The play is very intimate. The play is about intimate relationships. Nuances and human idiosyncrasies, and the amount of space, as we just did Cabaret in the main stage. There's bigger than life in this cast, and it's been wonderful. And this is mostly conversations at tables or in psychiatrists' offices, and the intimacy of lab theater. Our audience will be, in some cases, 6 feet from those conversations.
From these people happening. Yeah. Well, great, because now you've gotten into that. Now we have this really wonderful intimate setting. So can you give us a little idea of what the plot is about?
There's a quality of crazy about the play. 6 people, 2 therapists, and a male and a female couple, a male and a female who are both in therapy. Without going, I won't give it away. But the play is about people in 1981 who are sort of stuck on their own personal land masses and can't connect to a changing world for a variety of different reasons. And are using therapy to try and make it work and make connections and find love, and this sort of dysfunction that ensues, you know.
Great.
Yeah.
And as we know, we still have these kind of dysfunctional things in 2011, but we have chosen to keep this in 1981. Is there specifically why we want to keep it there? Is there a reason that we don't update a show like this?
Yes, it's I guess it was an important question early in the process. You know, do you update it? And because a lot of the jokes in there are specific to the time, 81. It was his, I guess, Broadway debut, and I think especially for a college crowd, although we do draw from the community, a lot of our audience is still college kids, and there are things that will be lost on them. So the initial question is, okay, that reference to Sean Cassidy could now be Justin Bieber, or Jason Bieber, what have you. But as we read it more, it seemed so much of not only, it's not just a joke reference, but it's about, the reference is specific about why these people would have listened to that person and not just, they're time-specific references that are riddled throughout the script. So a rewrite, to update it, you wouldn't only have to just change the name, but the context of the joke, or the bit, or the reference.
Would be endless rewrite. You might as well do your own play as opposed to trying to update this because it means so much. Yeah, and I know we had talked that they answer ads in the newspaper.
Oh yes, yeah.
And that would be so different today.
Indeed.
I think you've had a conversation with the cast about something like that.
Yeah, there were blind dates. The show starts on a blind date, and the Prudence, the lead, she comes in and she's looking at her newspaper and trying to discern if the description in the newspaper matches that guy over there. And that was another part of 1981, where the world was changing, and I guess the internet and MTV was just beginning that year. We're becoming more interactive, but still at that time, it wasn't the same experience where now you'd have an internet connection with somebody, and you're meeting people in chat rooms and videotaping back and forth. So this is blind, and there's a real important energy that happens between these two people, and the things that they say and the nervousness that they bring that's specific to not having had an interactive experience prior to this. Right. You know, and I think the other important consideration on that point is in 1981, so much specific about the way Durang wrote these characters is informed because of the conditions in the world that surrounded them. You know,
had you thought about 1981 and how unique that period was before you even tackled this play?
It was in reading the play that started to become illuminated for me.
Yeah. It seems like, I don't remember 81, it seems like 91 to me.
You
know, as we grow older, we don't think about, I don't remember anything different. But then when you go back and look at this play and some of these references.
Too true.
Yeah. Good.
The technology and everything else.
Yeah. So in doing this play, it's set in different locations. So I know you've worked with Tom O'Neill, who is our set designer, scenic artist for this. What have you, again, back in this intimate space of Ender Hall, what have you guys come up uniquely to do, how many locations is it? I can't remember.
Well, it's 2 psychiatrists' office, a restaurant, an apartment, and
it keeps
4
going
locations,
back and forth between these
but it's
4.
a constant change.
So what have you come up with?
Well, ingenious, Mr. Tom O'Neill, and that's one of the challenges, small space, a lot of furniture. You have 4 different whole scenarios, a restaurant, an office, desks, and so we didn't get crazy with furniture, but you still have piles up. So it was this idea about these moving panels on wheels where we play both sides and they shift into different configurations. So just very simple fluid movements and furniture change. You can create different locations. And the other innovation from Tom was to have, as well as just changing the shape of the panels and the furniture, what else would identify these people or make the space different? And that was the art.
So these panels are movable walls. It seems like they're 4 foot by 8 foot or 9 foot sections that pop into different directions to make you know that you're in this office or you're in the restaurant or the apartment. And you use them in different sections of the theater and move them around, which is kind of cool. And then, as you said, adding artwork to them to specify that different location. That's cool.
That was it. Finding something art-wise that was specific to that character would help to make that space their own. And we go to Stuart's office, and he's a very sort of libidinous character. So, you know, something that was, that would be a picture that Stuart
something
would
he would
out,
have.
yeah.
Right. That's very, when you see that art, you know
Yeah.
where you are because of that artwork. Good. And so the lighting will also make these rooms or these areas specific as well.
Correct, yeah.
Any challenge with the lightings in this?
Well, there's because you're using so many different locations, one office is here, one office is here, the restaurant's over here. That could be considered, I suppose, a challenge. And Professor Jared Saltzman doing the lights is accepted that challenge.
Good.
But you have so many different areas to deal with. And again, as the art would suggest a change in place, and the furniture suggests a change in place, you want the lighting to suggest a change in place. But almost so that you don't notice it, but you're aware of it. You know?
That you've gone there.
Yeah,
Cool. And then we've of course got Marie Natali doing our costumes, which she's having a blast with, finding these again, I don't remember wearing anything different, but finding things that we wore in 1981 to costume these people. I don't know that there's been a difficult thing in that. It seems like that's not hard to find, or has there been any problem costume that you have found?
Well, she seems just miraculously to keep coming up with new wonderful things, which, as you said, in 1981, it's a trip too, because can you come in and check this costume out? And you haven't seen that jacket cut in 20, 30 years.
True.
And it's like, I have one of those.
right. And patterns and fabrics and all that kind of stuff.
Hairstyles. And, in 1981.
Yeah, Farrah Fawcett. And
right.
Yeah, that whole look. Cool.
Indeed.
And then to round up our collaborative arts here, Patrick Ryan is doing the sound. And
yes.
What are you thinking of doing with the sound in this? Background music or anything like that?
Well, as a sound designer, it's interesting. Not a lot of sound effects or things like that, so the music was very important. The set changes, while we do have them down to an efficient movement, there's time to consider there. So we want the sound to sort of reinforce our period, also give the mood of the piece. And Patrick, at the first concept meeting or production meeting, he said, "Oingo boingo." I don't know if you know, it's Danny Elfman, who's doing a lot of movies in Hollywood, soundtracks and scores and things like this.
Some of the things he's done,
Nightmare Before Christmas,
right?
Yeah, real talent, and this was one of his early bands. In 1981, in fact, this album was released called Only a Lad, and it's the sounds of technology that became prevalent in the 80s, the synthesizers and whatnot. Very poppy, but also lyrically, it's very, the whole album is themed about alienation and isolation and not being able to fit into the greater picture of the world, which is what all of our characters suffer from. It's perfect, yeah.
Great. So now here we are. We've got our collaborative artists all together. You've been in rehearsal, and we're, 3 weeks from opening?
The 24th, so yeah.
24th is coming up.
2.5 weeks.
What do you do from here till opening night? What is the game plan, as it were?
Great. So we've been really working the scenes. Very individual work with couples to work it again.
For our novices out there, what do you mean working the scene?
Okay.
What are they in for?
Okay. So when we're in the middle of working a scene, it's breaking down as much as we can every line, every word with the actors who are immersing themselves in these characters and becoming different people, and deciding, why does someone say that? What does someone mean when they say that? What you just said to me mean to me in the context of this play and this character, and finding the dramatic arc, what moves them, and what do they want out of this meeting, things like that. So the scene work has been very important. And then we put those together starting next week in full rehearsed run-throughs of the whole play. And by a week from this Saturday, we'll be in our first technical
Start putting
rehearsal.
it all together.
Yeah.
And that's the nature of the beast. And then we're at opening night. We get into our preview performance, and then we finally have an opening night. And what's your goal between now and opening night? Is there one big thing that needs to happen, or are you just putting it all together?
I think we just stay the course that we're on.
Stay the course. That's great.
Yeah.
We open February 24th in the Interhall Lab Theater. Showtimes. The shows are February 24th, 25th. I'm looking at my poster right here. So it's February 24th, 25th. March 3rd, 4th, and 5th at 7:30 p.m. And then we have matinees on February 26th and March 5th. Those are Saturdays at 3 p.m. General admission is $10, $7 for students, seniors, and all of our BCC. So please come and support Beyond Therapy. Michael, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Break a leg.
Super
have a great
time.
opening night.
Appreciate it. Thanks for
everything. Thank you. And thanks for watching.